Greetings. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Mushtaq, Professor Emeritus from Washington State University. Today we are going to talk about a question which is being asked is, does artificial insemination improve livestock production? So we will be focusing more on bovine or cattle reproduction in this video because this is where most of the research is done and published. So I'm going to share with you here an old information from United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA. So as you can see on the slide, on your left-hand side of this picture on vertical axis, there's a number of cows in millions. And at the horizontal axis, we have two different years to measure that. One is 1942, around World War II. And then the second picture number is from year 2007. Now, as you can see, in around 1942, there were 25 million dairy cows in the United States. And then the number decreased in 2007 to 9.1 million. So now if we look at the milk production, on this again graph, you see on your vertical axis is the milk production in billion pounds. And again, at the horizontal axis are the same 2 years. So you can see in 1942, the milk was produced 118 billion pounds, whereas that milk increased in 2007 to 185 billion. So if I put these both pictures together on this one slide, which makes really a very simple way to look at it. So essentially here you can see on left-hand side, the cow numbers were decreased and the milk production went up. So you can see it's very clear that something has happened, that we can have a less number of cows and they can produce more milk. Now, how it happened was that there are at least two very commonly used techniques or technologies. One is artificial insemination, and the other is embryo transfer. Of course, there are some other techniques and technologies too. For instance, nowadays, sexed semen is being utilized, but here, for our time's sake, we are going to focus primarily on artificial insemination. Now, why we emphasize on artificial insemination? What is the secret about it? Well, look at this picture. On your left-hand side, you could see this one bull is trying to breed one cow. And if he is able to do that, he will ejaculate about 6 milliliters of semen in this cow. And if she gets pregnant, will produce one calf. Now, if we calculate that and take this 6 milliliter of semen, which is on average about 1 billion sperm per milliliter, so essentially this, bull is putting in 6 billion of a sperm. But if we take that again, the semen, and try to look at the quality of the semen, and let us say there's 70% sperm motility, so we take the 6 milliliter, multiply by the billion of sperms, so we come up with 4.2 billion total sperm. Now, for artificial insemination, each insemination requires about 15 million sperm per artificial insemination dose. So here, if we do all this calculation, we take that motile 4.2 billion sperm and then divide it with 15 million sperm per AI dose. So here we have 280 doses of artificial insemination. So essentially, that bull, which was going to breed that one cow to produce one calf, here potentially we can inseminate 280 cows from the same amount and quality of semen. So you can see the potential that if you have a proven bull with a good genetic background, you could spread these qualities of that bull very quickly in these animals. And at the same time, if you've got a bad quality bull, that could spread also not good things to your dairy herd. So how the semen is collected? Well, the most commonly used technique is artificial vagina. As you can see in this picture, on the top picture is the instructor showing the artificial vagina, how pieces are put together, parts are put together, and how then semen is collected. And in the bottom picture, you could see that water buffalo, the male is being collected on the mounting on the female, which is receptive in heat. So semen is collected in that way. Then the semen is brought in the laboratories and look for the sperm motility, the volume, and the concentration to do calculation, which we just talked about. Then we preserve the semen. You don't need to. If you are able to use that fresh, what we call fresh chilled semen, you cool it down, put in thermos flask, and you go in the field and inseminate these cows if you want to. Or you can preserve the semen for a long, long time. Now, this preservation requires also quite a bit details, which I wouldn't go in very many details other than mentioning here that you need to have a semen extender. There's a lot of information available out there. And then semen is then frozen in liquid nitrogen vapor. On left-hand side is just showing in our small laboratory how semen is extended, filled in straws, and then put in the liquid nitrogen vapor. Now, this is just for demonstration purposes, but nowadays we have a fairly large places where bull studs are kept, and then semen is collected on a regular basis. So these millions of straws are frozen at one time. And then comes to the artificial insemination. So what you do is you take the semen and load it up in this pipette, and in this receptive cow at the right time, you try to inseminate it. So many things could go wrong. So we had to be careful, starting from a very basic concept of hygiene. How clean everything is which comes in contact with the semen. Is it artificial insemination? I should start with artificial vagina. Is it clean? And then the extender you have made or you have prepared, is it in good quality of water? Then dilution of the semen, and then bring in the artificial insemination pipette. What are the environment where you are doing the AI? And in some places, in our developing countries especially, the weather in some areas is very hot. And some places could be extremely cold. So that environmental extreme conditions could damage that sperm which is in your pipette. So then it comes to success of AI. So when I go again to these countries and I ask people, I say, so what is your success of artificial insemination? They said, sir, it's about 70-80%. I said, okay, so you are telling me that you inseminate these cows and 80% of them get pregnant? Could you show me the records? He said, sir, we observed very clearly that so many cows we inseminated, they did not come back in cycle. So these cows cycle every 21 days. If you don't breed them, they come back. So the cow you inseminated, she did not come back, does not mean that she is pregnant. Something might have happened bad, could be early embryonic death. This cow did not come back. So the bottom line is that we do not rely upon non-return rate of the cows, but we rely upon the proof in the pudding, as you say. We want to see how many cows got pregnant. So we want to look at the conception rate, pregnancy rate, to really say how successful that artificial insemination was. So really, artificial insemination is not solution to all the problems of livestock production. It's harvesting techniques and technology if utilized properly. The thing which really surprises me and sometimes concerns me, that in many of our developing countries, if not many, at least some that I have traveled to, people trust these techniques so much that without paying attention to everything else around it, for instance, the cow, is she in good health? Has she been properly vaccinated? Has she had any background of losing her pregnancy? Means abortion. So all these things need to be considered. And in some countries, I have to say that some people have become so excited that they have built separate buildings for artificial insemination, hired directors and the staff, and then it is difficult to measure the success of those, places. So again, I just cannot repeat enough times that the bottom line is the conception rate. So show it to me. So this is what our next video is going to be focused on, is to look at from insemination to pregnancy, the proof of success. So I hope you will join me. In the meantime, I wish you well. Bye-bye.